With that, it is my honor and privilege, I'm elated to take this time to welcome each and every one of you who are seated here. If your name is fall between head to death, I welcome each and every one of you into our divine service. If you feel from this moment, I welcome you with a cold welcome. And if you feel cold, then I welcome you with a cold welcome. And giving back, I would like to take this time and welcome our student Dean Renewal, welcome. And second one, I would like to take this time and welcome the one that will break the bread of life this morning. In Ephesians chapter 11 verse 1, 12 says, cast thy bread upon the waters. After many days you shall fight. The Bible proverb says, cast thy bread upon the waters. Means the bread that you will cast upon the waters. Not your bread, but the bread that will change our life, that will mold our life, and that will bring us one more step closer to God. So the Bible says, cast your bread upon the waters, and after many days you shall find. I don't know, this will be the last time or second year to year at Paglum. But when you go somewhere and come back, you will not see the same Sumoga that used to be, or the one that used to be still. But many days you come around and see there will be a change boy again. Because the Bible says, cast your bread upon the waters, and after many days you will find. And you will come around and check to see that there will be no shame. Doesn't that Mary or Maria or John, Peter really used to be around, but they will be transformed by the word that you will preach to them this moment. So I would like to hear out the congregation, audience, I would like to welcome you up to the stage. Thank you.
I am about to share with us a message that I found live and a meaningful, a message that is found especially in the family of Moses. Let us pray before we start. Dear Heavenly Father, I'm a man of unbelief, men who dwell and live in the presence and in the outside world. But Lord, this moment that you have allowed me to stand in your presence and in the eyes of your students and your children, Lord, I pray, let me be the instrument that can draw each and every one of us back to you. Lord, I pray for the Holy Spirit. Let it use me and open the hearts and minds of everyone that are here, so that all of us can receptive to you all. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. God called Moses in a day or time when the situation was not that good. Moses was saved so that he can save the others, the Jewish in the boundaries. But Moses was not the only one that was being given birth by his mother, but he has some kids also, namely Miriam and Aaron. I'm not going to focus on the story of Aaron, but I will focus on the story of Miriam. Miriam was a woman who started in the life of Moses when Moses was just a small boy. When the decree was made to murder whoever, especially the Jewish, that is under the age or that is king. So Moses was at that age when Miriam was around the age of 12, 10 to 12, at that period. So when Miriam was around that age, when the decree was opened, the girl Miriam was there to help when Moses was sailing down. Before I go to that story, I would like to base upon our the sermon on the book of Numbers chapter 12. Numbers chapter 12 verse 1 all the way. You can read them, but I'll just point one verse at a time. Chapter 12 verse 1 it says, Then Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman. Verse 2. So they said, Has the Lord indeed spoken only through Moses? Has he not spoken through us also? And the Lord heard it. So here is the conflict that started. And what we see from the book of Numbers chapter 12 verses 1, it says that then Miriam and Aaron. In the book of Hebrews writing, the name of Miriam is written first, just like the book of, in the English version. So the scholars and the people that believe that Miriam was the one who started this conflict. The problem of going against Moses was started not by Aaron, but by Miriam. So Miriam was the one who started it, and then Aaron was the one who just go after her. He just supported what Miriam had said. So to understand Miriam's view, we have to go back. First, let us understand what Miriam is, what kind of person she is. Here we saw from the Exodus chapter 2, we saw that Miriam was the one who had been the one who had helped Moses. Because when Moses was sailing on the river Nile, she was walking distance far. Because she is part of, Moses was part of the family. And she being the elder kid, you know, especially in the house setting, when you have a child, a small kid, a baby, and when you see this girl around age 8, 7, 6, coming up all the way to age 15, you will see that they will love that kids, that little child more than the boys. They will be the one carrying that child around everywhere they go. Moses, when he was a kid, when he was just a small boy, everything that was done by Miriam, helping her mother, trying to give the best to the child. But now, when the kid was floating on the river Nile, Miriam was really conscious. She was walking, but her heart was beating. Will he be sinking in the lake? And then while walking on the distance, she was watching. What can he do? Will he be able to sing? And then her heart was beating fast twice. And then when Moses was reached by this Pharaoh's daughter, she quickly ran to Pharaoh's daughter and said, Can I go and look for a nest so that she can feed it? You see, she came up with a brilliant idea. Just to save who? Just to save Moses, one. Two, the other thing is, she didn't want to let go of Moses. So she said, if she is with me, just close to me and my mother, she should be okay. He should be okay. So, doesn't mean that the Pharaoh doesn't have other lady to look after kids. There. But here is the brilliant idea, which Miriam brings to the attention of the Pharaoh's daughter. That was the only story that we see Miriam came to play. But after that, there was nothing that was mentioned in the story that we can see Miriam come to play. But only when they had passed over to the other side of the Red Sea. To the other side of the Red Sea. That is where in the book of Exodus chapter 12, 15 verses 20 and 21 says, Miriam led the woman to sing the victory song. There was no rehearsal that was done to sing a victorious song after when they crossed over the river. But here is the woman, Miriam, was the one who introduced the song, and the woman followed him, singing the song, not him but her, singing the new song, totally a different song. They sing with the temperance and everything. The music instruments was played, and everyone was jumping up and down, lifting the hands, lifting high their hands and praising the God for the marvelous thing that He had done. And on the verse 21, we saw that she was named as what? A prophetess. That she was the one that held. Well, verse 3 told us that, and the man Moses was very humble, more than all the men who were on the face of the earth. While looking at that verse alone, you see the multitudes that were led by Moses. Bible says that Moses was very humble or very meek, and he had not done anything. But the words reached out to every temple, everyone, and then everyone was talking about Moses of the thing that he had done, saying about that woman that he got married to. But who was the one who spread the information? Miriam and Aaron going around telling everyone, hey, Moses should have not done that. Why did he do that? But verse 2 told us that once they were speaking, who heard that? God heard what was happening. God saw what was happening. And then He told Mary and Aaron and Moses, 3 of you come up, come to the church, and I'll speak to you. Verse 6, then He said, God, hear now my words. If there is a prophet among you, I, the Lord, make myself known to him in visions. And He said, I speak to them in dreams, not so with my servant Moses. He said, Aaron was also a prophet. Miriam was also a prophet. Looking at that background, God here He comes and says, hey, if I want to say something to you, Miriam and Aaron, I will speak to you through dreams. I will speak to you through dreams and in words. But He said, not with you, Moses. Not so with my servant Moses. He is faithful in all my house. I speak with him face to face, even plainly and not in dark, say. And this is the form of the Lord. And why then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? He said, he and me, we speak face to face. He knows the form of the Lord. But not with you. You are the one I only speak and you heard. I only come to you in dreams. But to Moses, we spoke face to face. He know me. He know my status. He know my thoughts. How can you speak to this man, Moses? You should have been afraid to speak to him like that. That was what God had said. But for Miriam to go against Moses was quite a different thing. You see, Miriam didn't realize that now he is a man of God. Now he is a different person. I cannot say anything. Even if God spoke to me in words and in dreams, I cannot take the place of Moses. Moses is a different person. Even though he is my younger brother, I was the one who was with him when he should have drowned in the lake of Nail. Not lake, but the river Nail, but I was with him. I was monitoring every step. I was there. I am the prophetess. God also spoke to me. But when it comes to this verse, chapter 1, it was not about the woman. It was about the position. It was about the position. And it was about what God speaks through him. Prior to that, verse 11 told us about 70 prophets, not prophets, but 70 elders that were appointed to minimize the problem in the temples among the children of Israelites. Among this list, she is not there. She is not there in the list of 70. If she was, then their name should be on. But 70 elders, she was not. The problem, just after appointing the 70 elders, and then here comes the problem of Moses. So you see, the problem should have been in the family. It should have been in the family alone. And they should have said that, Moses, why did you do that? But here, in verse 2, they have said, as the Lord indeed spoken only through Moses, has he not spoken to us also? God also spoke to us. It's not the Moses only that he spoke to him. But Moses was different from Aaron and different from Miriam. Moses was the one who knows the face of God, who hears the message clearly, and also sees the face of God. The face-to-face conversation was only done by Moses and God, not God and Miriam or Aaron and God. It was only Moses. To come down to our understanding of this, you see, it was not even Aaron's decision to do this. It was only Miriam's decision. It was in the hearts and minds of Miriam to bring this problem up. So verse 3 says that everyone was talking. Everyone was talking. All the entire Israel that were in the desert, they were talking about Miriam, not Miriam, but Moses. And then we saw that Miriam become leprosy, or leprosy become leper in the eyes of Moses and Aaron. Why did it affect Aaron? Because Aaron was drawn into the problem by who? By Miriam. It was Miriam's personal problem with Moses. And then Aaron was drawn into the problem, and also the entire Israel was drawn in. So it took them another 7 days for her to recover. So they have to wait until 7 days were over. They have to move again. Coming to our story, I'd like to pick up one or two points and then we will use. Just looking at Miriam's story, we can see many stories that we can draw lesson from. The one lesson that I want to draw from is this one. We may have problems, we may have grudges upon one another, but we have to address it with that person. But if we are to involve everyone, then it will affect the entire everyone. But for Moses, you see, he said he was a meek person. Verse 3 says that now the man Moses was very humble. He was full of meekness was upon his heart. He said, it is okay. What they are saying, let them say. Because it was not only Miriam and Aaron, everyone. It should have been solved in a little problem in their household. Because Moses and Aaron and Miriam, they are from one father and one mother. But now, they are addressing problem, or they are bringing problem outside of their houses. So, when we have problem, when we have grudges against one another, address it in your household. Address it in your small group. As Jesus said, when you have problem, when you see there is erring present, if your brother or sister that made some erring against you or error against you, address him or her alone. If he cannot hear you, then bring one elder to him. And if he cannot do that also, then bring the church and you can say that person is erring and he will become outcast. So that is the principle. But for us, when we have problems, first of all, do not let it go out of bounds. Address it small, in your small scale. Because you never know what will happen. Because here it says, before Lord comes in, before God comes in and address the problem, Lord already knows what happens. When Miriam and Aaron, when they were at one only discussing, Lord was in the midst. He heard them. He heard them what they would say. But he was waiting for Moses to come in with a response. But when Moses didn't say anything, that is when God came into it. The second point. Here is the story where we sometimes our sisters churches take out of context. What goes in doesn't harm the body, but what comes out harms the body. Here is same thing. You see, Moses should have said that this is my reason. Why are you talking about my reason? Why are you saying all these kind of words to me? Moses should have said something, but he didn't say anything. Bible saying that he was very humble. He didn't say anything. He was full of meekness. And then God coming to rescue. When something happened to you, you know, all of us are facing problems. Students, you may face your problem on your own level. It may be academic performance. It can be soap, or it can be money that will help you keep going. But for the staffs, we may have our own problems. Maybe in our positions, maybe in our anything, leadership, anything that may come into our life. But what we must do is meekness must remain in our life. Humbleness must be part of our life. When humbleness came to place or play, that is when God steps in. If Moses had said something to Miriam and Aaron and even to the entire children of Israelites, that God coming into play would not play clearly. But for Moses, when he was humble and when he was full of meekness, that is when God stepped in and said, Miriam, Aaron, you did what you shouldn't have done. That is why at the end of the day we saw that Miriam was with leprosy. So student, when you see problem, do not address it so quickly. Find it humble in your heart. It may be one of your things. It may be your money. It may be the textbook that you have been searching for all along. And then now you find it. And then, you cannot control it. But if you maintain that hunger, you will see that God will come in with solutions that you have never dreamed of. That you have never dreamed of. So always wait for the right time. God will still come in. For Miriam, she also forgot that she was a prophet, or she was a prophetess. The one who led out in songs, one who led out the children of Israelites to worship the Lord. The one who always comes on in front and talks about the good thing about God. But now, what had happened? She cannot say that I will take the place of God. When she comes into the place of Moses, that is the time everything just changed, because Miriam said, God also spoke to us. It can be that we can be in the church. This is a chapel, it is only run by the school, but it can be in a church settings where we can say, if this elder can do that, why not me? We are saved. All of us are saved. If he can preach, I can preach. But going against the image of God, going against another person that is doing the work of God, is literally out of bounds. What you normally do, it is not the same as the other person can do. What you do is maybe one of them, but others can do is what you cannot do. All of us, we are called together to serve one God, to edify the church, to do the work of God, to finish the gospel commission, as long as we wait for it. So, as long as you live on this level, as long as we see the rising of the sun and setting of the sun, students, remember, and the staff, remember, we are called to serve God in our own capacity. We will not double things up. What others are doing, we may not. Do not become Miriam. Do not take the place of Moses like Miriam did. We may find bad things happen in our life. I am called in a different capacity. You are called in a different capacity. But to do the same thing. Is to lead the church of God. Is to lead one another. What I am good at is not what you are good at. What I am good at is not what you are good at. And even what I am not good at, it is what you are good at. So when you come in with your gift, and when I come with my gift, that is where we come together to move the gospel. But when we sit down and say that, oh, he is not good at that one, then you are good at it. We have to help one another to do the work of the Lord. So do not become like Miriam, wanted to take the place of God, because Moses, because God said, Miriam, for you and Aaron, I speak to you through the words and through dreams, not literally, but for Moses, I speak to him face to face. He knows me and I know him. These are some of the things that we must consider. Do not let jealousy bring you down. Miriam was very jealous of the work that Moses did. It should have been only that problem of marriage, I do be a woman. But you see in verse 2, it says, go out to different topics. The first was the marriage of Moses marrying a different woman. But second, it was like, you argue on that point, and then you are ending up on a different topic. You see sometimes women, when they argue, boys sometimes sit down and listen, even the girls. You sometimes sit down and listen. They will talk about only one particular thing, or it may be one of the plate that was missing, or the little kid that was being slapped by another woman. The mother got up and said, instead of addressing the problem, you will see them that you should have degree or monthly or some kind of the things outside of the real argument. You usually sometimes like you beg around. I saw you begging for food. The problem is the kid. They should have talked about that kid alone, and that's it. But all of a sudden, you will hear them talking about food, and then the other will describe about their husband. They are not part of the problem. They are not part of the problem. So Miriam, she should talk to the problem on end. The problem was Moses getting married to an European woman, a Ethiopian woman. But the second verse told us a different story. God also spoke to us. You think you are the only one? You think God knows about Paglum Moses? We hear God speaking to us, and we receive dreams from God too. So why? You see, one problem, that actually the problem was left alone. They were already going to another problem. Address one problem at a time, because you may not know what is coming ahead. When you jump over one to another, it will come down very hard. Today, we have this thing about love and grace that is going on. But if it was there, people will live with a lot of tears. But when Moses and Aaron, when they think that Miriam and Aaron, when they think that Moses is part of the family, and eventually they forget that he was a servant called by God. Many are called, but few are chosen. But he is a chosen one of God. And Miriam and Aaron, forget about these things. So students, tomorrow you will be gone. You will leave us. You will leave us. You will be gone. And it will be in the universities, or you will be working. And then you will be given a job as a church leader. Do not take other problem to yourself. When it comes to addressing it, you address it in a smaller scale. Do not let everyone knows about the problem. Sometimes we discuss, when I share the board meetings, not often here, but to those that I have been to. The problem that I address are in the church with our leaders, but somehow I had one of the church members talking to me about the problem that I address in the church. Then they want to check. Sometimes I out of control. How did you know? Did you hear from a bird? Or insects come and tell you? The problem are real. What you are going through in life, students, they are not same as what the staffs and the teachers going through. We have our own problem. We have our own problem to manage. You have your own problem to manage. But when it comes to problem, address that problem on that small scale. On that scale alone. Do not let it go out of control by getting this one, and getting that one. And when we put every problem together, then what's up? So going to the ministry, we will only when Jesus comes. And then when we go to that place where Bible says every tears will be gone, no more pain, no more crying. But as long as we wait for Christ's return, we will face problems. You will face problems. But address it in a smaller scale. Because when you let everyone knows about the problem will not come down good on you. It will come down very hard. Just like Miriam, thinking that she forgot that she was a leader, leading the great movement, heading towards the promised land. It affected what's affect the long run of Israelites. They should have been there, but they were remaining on that same stage for 7 years. So students, teachers and staff, we have problems. Let us address our problem in our small scale. If it means to address in our little office, let us do that. If it means to address in our little kids, let us do that. Do not bring your problem out of your classroom, out of your cubes and documents. When you do that, it may cause a lot of problems. It may cause you a problem. Who knows? It will come down out of you. Heaven will always uphold our decision, but the consequence will follow. Consequence do follow, just like the case of Miriam. So let us handle our cases, handle our problems in a smaller way as possible. Do not let it go outside of our box. Do not let it, if it is a family problem, do not let it go outside of our family homes. What will they bring to your life? Will they bring any solution? No. There won't be any solution when you bring them out of the books. Address it to the people that you can address it. But in a smaller scale, you address it among yourself. And then you will see that you will have a smooth scale. Even though problem may arise, but the journey will be okay. But if not, then the journey will be affected. And who knows, some will never make it to the promised land. Like for Miriam, did she make it to the promised land? No. Just on the other side, just a week away, she was there. And that is what happened to her. But to get the lesson out from Miriam's story, never forget, all of us are called, but for different purposes. What I am good at, you are not good at it. What I am not good at, that is where you are good at it. All of us are walking towards, all of us are taking the journey, running the race until we see, until we take the prize that is ahead of us. So take your problem, address it in a smaller scale, not in a bigger scale, because everyone is not going to be on your side. Everyone will not be the one to help you. And at the end of the day, consequences will come because of your action and my action. May God bless our study.
Happy Sabbath, church. You guys are sleeping and I am wondering at it. Morning breakfast is only something. When you put on a message, Back then in my village, in my community, his house is the other side of the river, and my house is the other side of the river. The river used to call by the name Roman. His house is there, sir. When I want to go to school, I am the first person to go to the creek, go to the river, and last person to sleep without my shoulder. So when I wake up first, I put on my shoes. That time, then I was a big drug also. I used to do that. And then in the home, I used to sit in my room, wake up in my bed, and I used to roll the cigarettes, and then I used to light it in the room, and I walk down to the creek to wash myself. When I saw him come, he came. He was the chaplain at North American General Hospital. We go to the church, we sit to pray, and then he will come. He'll come, we meet together. I usually take the drug boats and I usually pack and go down to the creek. When I saw him, I usually hold the drug on my hands and I used to squish it. Make sure that no one smoke will come in out of my hands. I usually make sure that on my hands. When I saw him, I thought that I would not meet the problem again. So when I first came last year, he is the first person to come. And we do meet there again. Yes, I am privileged to have him. Chaplain, thank you for the wonderful message and encouraging message that you have given us this morning. With that, to close up our single myself, thank you us. Asa post to come out of the Brenda to go to the last again.